So cookie mamas, anyone else out there ever felt like you were dealing with cookie burnout? And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm making $42 and all I have to do is make 12 cookies. No, no, you, no. You can do that, but the process is like pulling your hair out. You can still enjoy cookie decorating and you can do it within a reasonable amount of time and not be up until 2:30 in the morning like I was last week. All right, I had to jump in here because we need to have a heart-to-heart. Let me tell you, I started to do a video for y'all that I had this really fun idea, and I was like gonna vlog the whole process of taking some cookie orders and then figuring out what the designs were going to be and then making the cookies and then delivering the cookies. And halfway through, I thought to myself, this is why I stopped doing decorated cookies. Because, and you can probably relate, that cookie decorating with small children in the house during either May or summer break is only for either the insane or not faint of heart. You have probably thought to yourself at some point, how does anybody make this worth their time? Or maybe you have thought to yourself, like, there has to be a better way. How can I make this work for me instead of feeling like I am a slave to the baking and dough making and frosting making and then coloring the frosting and then putting the frosting on the cookies and then drying the cookies. Lord have mercy. Cookie recipe is cheap and relatively speaking, it sounds great. However, the amount of time it consumes, which if you have done any cookie decorating up until this point, you understand. And when you are newer, it takes even longer. So if you're there, kudos to you. It will take less time. However, there are better ways. Okay, let's talk about those better ways. So we'll do a little bit of math first. Okay, a standard cookie order, well, you can't say standard because you get orders all over the map, right? But let's say, it depends on what part of the country you're in, if you're in a big metropolitan area or a rural area. So let's just say you're charging $3.50 a cookie, right? Minimum a dozen cookies, always take a deposit, sidebar. Okay, it's great because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna make, oh my gosh, don't make me do math. 350 times 12, 3 times 12 is 36 and a half, and another 6 is $42. That could be wrong. It could be wrong. Yes, and I do have a master's degree, but we won't go there. It's not in math, clearly. So $42, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm making $42 and all I have to do is make 12 cookies. No, you can do that and it will be lovely. And the most gratifying part is getting to the end, being like, oh my gosh, look at these beautiful cookies I made. But the process is like pulling your hair out, okay? And does anybody else have problems with small fingers trying to find little pieces of frosting everywhere, or like coming down to my cookie space and then clearly somebody has been eating frosting out of a piping bag, so now I have to throw the piping bag away, and then there's like I have put too much frosting on my finger apparently, Mom, so I just am gonna wipe the rest of it on the tablecloth. No, child. Okay, when I was doing this several years ago, and our second daughter was, when she was about 5 or maybe 4 and a half, We actually found one day, I went to tuck her in bed, frosting bags, piping bags in her bed. She had taken the piping bags from my cookie area, which was like gated off with like that legit baby gate that like folds out and it's like this tall and it's really hard. She snuck her way in and took the piping bags and then ate them in her bed. Okay? The struggle is real. So then I said, oh my gosh, there are other options. There are other ways to make money from your cookie decorating. The first one is cookie decorating kits. Okay, now what is lovely about this? You can decide what number of cookies you want to put in the box. I've done 6, I've done 8, I've done 12. So do what makes sense to you, what you think is going to be marketable. I think the first time I did them, I sold them for about $20, and it was either 6 or 8 cookies and 4 colors of frosting. And then I put like a little ramekin of like sprinkles that kind of coordinated, you know, and it went like with a theme. It was like, I don't remember what the first one I did was, Halloween or Christmas or something like that. And it was great. And people ordered online and they picked up on my doorstep, and it was fabulous because I didn't have to decorate the cookies. Okay. It was like, here's your cookie. Here's a picture of what the cookie could look like if I decorated it. And so that's probably the only decorating that you need to do. You've got to decorate one of each of the shapes. And I think I only ever did 3 different shapes, right? So you have like 2 of each shape, or if you're doing a dozen, here we go with math again. 3 shapes, so 4. There we go. Yes, I can do it. I can do it. You can math too. Okay. So 4 cookies of each shape. But I just had to bake the cookies. And at the time, my husband was doing the baking for me. So that was glorious. The other beautiful thing was when I had 20 cookie kits to make, I still only had, even though 20 different people were ordering, guess what? They all needed the same colors of frosting. That's huge. Okay. All the sprinkles were all the same in the little thing. And I measured and made sure everybody had the same amount. And then I had my boxes, and that was it. That was it. And they came and they picked them up and they were out the door. I did not have to decorate anything except the first set of one of each shape of cookie. That was life-changing. It made a difference because then I felt like I still was able to have income and still have a life and not be mad at my children, okay, which is important. So if you found this helpful, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell so you see more tips and tricks. So let's move on to the second option, which I thoroughly enjoyed, cookie decorating classes. So this was so much fun. I love to teach. I thought, well, hey, you know, like I could teach somebody else how to do this. And so I did. So I looked up local places that had spaces that I could either use or rent. I even actually did one that was a private class, and so they paid me to come to their home, and it was for a bridal shower. So it was just kind of a fun, like, decorate wedding themed cookies. And so for the classes, it was pretty similar to the cookie kits. I would only have, maybe 3 designs, and then I would give them 6 cookies. We would do the 6 cookies, similar, because I had the example of how I would decorate the cookies, and then we would just kind of go through the process, and I walk them through each step and a little bit at a time, and explain to them, different tips about how to do that, or how to hold their piping bag, or how to pipe a straight line, and some of the different problems that we discover as we are learning on our own. So that was huge because now I was able to promote these classes, and then people would pay $25, and this was a while ago. Okay, so, and I haven't done one recently. I would imagine that people would probably pay about $35 to attend, and it was a 2-hour class. To attend a 2-hour class and learn how to do cookie decorating. So how many cookies are you decorating again? Like 3 cookies, so that they can have a picture example, like a printed paper next to them to say like, oh yeah, this is what you did. This is what we're doing. And you're decorating one like during the class so that they can kind of see like, oh, this is what you do next. And so you're only decorating those, and then you're giving them naked cookies. You're giving them the frosting. Everybody's got the same colors of frosting again. And then that's it. And when you have, well, on average, I probably had about maybe 10 to 12 people, but up to 20, and you get that more like closer to Christmas. Everybody wants to learn how to do cookie decorating for Christmas. So when you could potentially have up to 20 people and they're paying $35 and all you're doing is decorating 3 cookies and just baking the rest, that's a win, 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 win. Okay? They get to learn how to do cookies. You don't have to pull your hair out. Check those out. I'm going to be talking more about how to go about each one of those and the process that I set up for my customers when they wanted to order a cookie kit. And then we're going to do another video too, talking about kind of what the outline of the class was. I hope you find that encouraging, that yes, there are other ways and you can still enjoy cookie decorating and you can do it within a reasonable amount of time and not be up until 2:30 in the morning like I was last week. Oh my goodness. And I was exhausted. And you can do this. Stay sweet, mama.